How to fix stuttering despite high FPS in God of War Ragnarok. Welcome back to Teknobalta. Today, we are addressing a highly frustrating performance issue in God of War Ragnarok, where the game feels like it is lagging, despite showing high frame rates. During our testing, with setups running hardware like the Ryzen 7500F and RX 9070 XT, we noticed severe stuttering and a lagging mouse sensation during sudden camera movements. Even when running at 4K Ultra graphics, with FSR 4 quality mode and frame generation enabled, the frame counter might show 140 to 150 FPS while the gameplay remains unsmooth. We have analyzed this exact scenario and prepared a comprehensive, step-by-step diagnostic guide to completely eliminate this stuttering. Our primary and most effective solution is verifying the integrity of the game files. We confirmed that corrupted or missing asset files directly cause this high FPS stuttering anomaly, and a simple verification scan immediately resolved the issue. To do this on Steam, right-click God of War Ragnarok in your library, select Properties, navigate to the Installed Files tab, and click Verify Integrity of Game Files. Next, we recommend temporarily disabling frame generation. While frame generation boosts your raw FPS numbers, it can sometimes introduce visual artifacts or input delay that mimics the feeling of low frame rates. We tested turning this feature off to see if the mouse responsiveness improved during rapid side-to-side camera panning. Even though disabling frame generation did not resolve the issue on its own during our initial isolated tests, it remains a crucial troubleshooting step when combined with file verification. Sometimes, conflicting overlay data gets stuck in the rendering pipeline, and resetting the frame generation toggle forces the engine to flush the active frame buffer. Adjusting your mouse polling rate is another critical step in our troubleshooting process. Extremely high polling rates, such as 4000 Hz or 8000 Hz, can overwhelm the CPU and cause micro-stutters whenever you move the camera quickly. We suggest lowering your mouse polling rate to a standard 1000 Hz or even 500 Hz using your dedicated peripheral software. We also found that altering the display mode can significantly impact frame pacing. God of War Ragnarok might struggle with proper resource allocation when running in borderless windowed mode on certain system configurations. Try switching your display mode strictly to Exclusive Fullscreen to force the operating system to dedicate maximum resources to the game. Managing VSync at the driver level often yields better frame pacing than relying on the in-game toggle. We advise disabling VSync completely within the game settings menu. Then, open your NVIDIA control panel or AMD software and force VSync to on, globally or specifically for the God of War Ragnarok executable. Shader compilation issues are a notorious culprit for micro-stuttering in modern PC ports. If the initial shader compilation process was interrupted or corrupted, every new environment loaded will cause a noticeable lag spike. You should force the game to rebuild its shader cache by deleting the temporary cache files located in your local application data folder. Toggling Windows Hardware Accelerated GPU Scheduling, also known as HAGS, can completely change your frame stability. While this feature is designed to reduce latency, our team found that it can sometimes conflict with upscaling technologies like FSR and DLSS. Search for graphics settings in your Windows search bar and experiment with toggling HAGS off, followed by a system restart. Disabling all background overlays is a mandatory step when diagnosing frame pacing issues. Software like Discord, Steam, and even your GPU driver overlays can inject code into the game process, creating severe performance bottlenecks. Navigate to the settings of these respective applications and completely disable their in-game overlay functionalities. Changing the process priority in Windows Task Manager forces your CPU to focus heavily on the game. Press Ctrl-Shift-ESC to open Task Manager, navigate to the Details tab, and find the God of War Ragnarok executable. Right-click it, hover over Set Priority, and change it to High to ensure background tasks do not steal processing power. Disabling Control Flow Guard for the game executable can drastically reduce CPU overhead. Open Windows Security, navigate to App and Browser Control, and click on Exploit Protection Settings. Go to the Program Settings tab, add the game executable, and override Control Flow Guard to the off position. Power management settings at the GPU driver level can throttle performance to save energy, leading to inconsistent frame delivery. In your graphics control panel, locate the Power Management Mode setting and change it from Normal or Optimal to Maximum Performance. This ensures your GPU maintains high clock speeds even during less intensive scenes, preventing abrupt stuttering. Conflicting upscaling technologies can occasionally cause the game logic to stutter while the render thread runs at high speeds. If you are using AMD FSR, try switching to NVIDIA DLSS or Intel ZSS if your hardware supports it, or simply drop down to native resolution temporarily. We noticed that changing the upscaler protocol forces the game engine to refresh its rendering pipeline, which often smooths out performance. Disabling unused human interface devices in Device Manager removes polling interruptions that affect gameplay smoothness. Sometimes, virtual controllers or idle steering wheels connected to your PC send constant polling requests that disrupt the game loop. Open Device Manager and selectively disable any gaming peripherals you are not currently using to play the game. Xbox Game Bar and its background recording features are known to hijack system resources and cause micro-stutters. Search for Game Bar in your Windows settings and turn off the toggle that allows it to run in the background. Additionally, ensure that background recording and capture functionalities are entirely disabled to free up disk and memory bandwidth. High Precision Event Timer, or HPET, can sometimes cause timing desynchronization between the game engine and the operating system. You can disable this by opening Device Manager, expanding System Devices, and disabling the High Precision Event Timer. Restart your computer afterward to see if the erratic frame time graphs stabilize. Validating your RAM configuration is essential because single-channel memory or disabled memory profiles heavily bottleneck frame pacing. Restart your system, enter the BIOS, and verify that your overclocking profile is fully enabled so your memory runs at its advertised speed. We also recommend confirming that your RAM modules are installed in the correct dual-channel slots on your motherboard. Disabling multiplane overlay via the Windows Registry is a proven method for fixing stuttering in windowed or borderless applications. Multiplane overlay is designed to reduce latency, but it frequently conflicts with modern GPU drivers, causing flickering and stuttering. You can download a registry configuration file from official graphics vendor forums to safely disable this feature. Turning off latency reduction features in the game menu can resolve input desynchronization. While these features are fantastic for reducing system latency, a bugged implementation can cause the game to hold frames artificially, creating a stuttering sensation. Disable these latency reduction features temporarily to observe if the camera movement becomes fluid again. Lastly, verifying your monitor refresh rate in Windows is a simple but frequently overlooked step. Sometimes, Windows defaults a high refresh rate monitor back to a lower frequency after a driver update, making a high frame rate game feel incredibly choppy. Go to Windows Display Settings, click on Advanced Display, and ensure your monitor is actually set to its maximum supported refresh rate. Now that we have covered the specific fixes for God of War Ragnarok, we want to provide 2 universal system maintenance routines to keep your PC running flawlessly. First, we highly recommend running the System File Checker to repair any corrupted Windows Core files that might be silently degrading performance. Open Command Prompt as administrator, type sfc/scano without the quotes, and let the system verify its integrity. Second, maintaining clean and updated graphics drivers is non-negotiable for stable gaming performance. Instead of installing new drivers directly over old ones, use a dedicated uninstaller tool in safe mode to completely wipe the existing driver repository. Once clean, install the latest official driver package to ensure maximum compatibility and stability across all your titles. Don't forget to follow Teknobalta for more.